everyone and welcome to Ecoholics. In today's video, we are going to talk about a very important topic which majority of the students who are preparing for IES, Indian Economic Services, struggle with. That is how to master statistics, how to prepare for statistics as they feel that it is a very tricky subject. Even after writing correct answers, they're not able to score it. So in this video, I will be helping you to with how to study statistics for your IES exam, which reference book do you need to refer to, how do you need to write perfect answers so that you do not score less, and how to basically attempt questions to know the perspective of the examiner. So let's get into the video and learn all of these tricks over here. Now, talking about statistics, statistics is one very important part of General Economics 1 paper, GE1 paper, and in GE1 that is a part of part B. So General Economics 1 is divided into two modules, GE1 and GE2. So General Economics 1 is divided into two parts, part A and part B. So part A consists of microeconomics, whereas part B consists of quantitative methods in economics, which is mathematical economics, statistics, econometrics, and income distribution. Now, when we see the syllabus of statistics and econometrics, which is given together for the syllabus of IES, it is listed here right there on your screens. So, in the syllabus of IES, in the syllabus given by UPSC, this is what comes under the statistics and econometrics. But let me tell you, statistics and econometrics are two different modules when you do your preparation. So, to help you out, first I will make you clear that when you talk about statistics, which all topics should you be talking about? So, first thing under statistics will be measures of central tendency and dispersions. Then it's correlation, regression you will study in econometrics. Then it is index numbers. Okay. Then it's sampling of curves based on various linear and non-linear functions. Least square methods is a part of regression and will be covered under econometrics. After that, everything you can see here is a part of econometrics. So many students make this big mistake. They feel this is entire portion of statistics, and hence when they go through the past year questions, they feel, oh god, there are so many difficult questions from statistics. But remember, that is econometrics. So these two are two different things. So these are majorly the four topics that you have to consider under your statistics syllabus. If you go with all these analysis of variance, factor analysis, and all of these all are part of econometrics. And then if you talk about measurement of income inequality, log normal distributions, these are part of income distribution. So please be sure with the syllabus. So this is what you need to first clear yourself with the statistics syllabus. So this is the part of statistics. Now, talking about the relevance of each topic. So, I will be telling you about the relevance of each topic. When you do measures of central tendency and dispersion, that consists of mean, median, mode, all of these things which you study under it. In dispersions, you talk about skewness, kurtosis. But what is the purpose? If you will pick up the past year papers of IES, you won't find direct questions that they're asking you to calculate mean, they're asking you to calculate median. No, their purpose is not you to test that, because that's something you do already do in your class 11th and 12th. That's already you have done. So the purpose is not to test you on that. The purpose is to develop your knowledge and hence test you on their applications. So many times there will be a question in econometrics, or there will be a question somewhere where you have to use, let's say, a property of mean, a property of median. So recently a question came where you had to prove something, that arithmetic mean and geometric mean. So I will show you that. But This is how they test you. They give you the application. So that question was basically about that if you're measuring the temperature in Fahrenheit or Celsius, then it doesn't matter when you're calculating arithmetic mean, but when you calculate geometric mean, it do matter. So this is how they didn't ask you simple question, but then they asked you application. So when you're studying these topics, you need to be very clear about their applications. Correlation is an important topic. Correlation used to get direct questions on this topic in the paper. Now we are seeing less questions on correlation, but correlation is very important. So in this, you should know how to calculate correlation coefficient, you should know the properties and all of that stuff. That is even required in regression. Then we talk about index numbers. Index numbers are seeing direct questions where they ask you to calculate about an index, and then they ask you about various kind of properties an index number can possess. So index number has been an important topic in the recent past year papers. Sampling of curves only they have asked a question only once from this topic, but this is a very short topic, so that's also good to go. Now with this, I hope you must have got the idea that what kind of syllabus is there and what kind of questions can be asked. Now talking about weightage and its importance. Now when you look at the G1 paper, if you will bifurcate your paper of G1, you will realize that not much questions are coming from statistics directly. So the weightage of statistics portion is less compared to econometrics. So I will tell you one more thing related to this, because I get this question a lot of times in classes that, ma'am, can we skip statistics if it is lesser important in comparison with econometrics? I would invest my time to study econometrics. Let me tell you one thing. Even though it has less weightage as compared to econometrics, its importance is highly something that you cannot deny, because statistics is a force that is going to push your knowledge and your concept clarity for econometrics. So if you feel that okay, I will skip statistics and I will do econometrics directly, you're going to feel trapped at some places. So the importance is very high, and if you are entering Indian economic services, if you clear your exam, you will be dealing with data on a daily basis. You have to work in many projects where you are going to deal with data, and if you don't know what to do with data because you have skipped statistics, you will be struggling towards the end. So this mean median mode are very important when you're dealing with data sets. Dispersion, because if you have a result in front of you and if you don't know how to analyze that result, the purpose of doing a research completely gets wasted. So the purpose of research gets fulfilled if and only if you know how to analyze it. Without analysis of this of the result in front of you, the result is of no use. So even though the weightage is less, but its importance is undeniable, and it is highly required for econometrics. So with this, the next question that many students ask me is that, can I skip statistics for exam? The answer is no, you should not. Because what if till now they're asking very less questions from statistics, but now onwards they ask you 5 questions? ऐसा नहीं है that you can't have questions from stats, it's just that there are more important questions from econometrics. That's the point. They still ask you questions from statistics, but they're bounded with econometrics. So that is the case. So you should not skip statistics for exam. It will hardly take you 1 month to complete the entire preparation for statistics. That is what you have. Okay. Now, moving forward, questions that your exam can ask you. Before you master statistics, you should first know what kind of questions can be asked. Because if you don't know the type of questions that can be asked, how will you prepare? So always remember, when you start your preparation journey, you should know what lies ahead of you. So if recently, if we take the example to understand the situation in a better way, you must have heard about a news where a person driving a car was following the GPS, the navigation, and the bridge was under construction in Uttar Pradesh, due to which the car fell down and the people have died. So, what happens is when you don't know the path ahead of you, then there is a high chance that you're going to get trapped into it. Similarly, if you don't know what kind of questions can be asked in exam and you are just moving straightforwardly, you are going to get maybe you are going to get a pitfall where you can also get trapped, and you can't bring yourself, you can't push yourself out from there. So you need to prepare for it. So to master your statistics, first know what kind of questions your exam can ask you. The one kind of question that your paper can ask from statistics is theoretical questions. I will show you the kind of theoretical questions that can come. Theoretical questions usually come from index numbers, then they come from measures of central tendency. In measures of central tendency, the questions might seem like they are numerical, but they are more towards proving something with the theory, with the properties and everything. That is what they get. Now, the second type of questions, those are numerical questions. Numerical questions appear from correlation, from index number. Also, recently questions have come up where they give you data and then they ask you to calculate price index. And the next is sampling. From that also you can get the numerical questions. So this is where you get the questions from. Okay, now let's see the kind of questions that have appeared, and then there I will tell you the tricks how to write the answer. So now the most important part of the video starts, where I will be telling you how to write perfect answers to score highest marks in statistics. So let us see some of these past year questions. So this is a question from 2023. That was a 5 marker question, so you have to write that in 100 words. So the question asks, explain the role of degrees of freedom in statistical inference. Now this question is something which is related to statistics as well as econometrics. As I told you, that econometrics and statistics are two different arms which you can't just separate. They are not, they don't have their own identity without each other. So when you have to write this answer, the first thing, so please, if you don't have a pen and a notebook, pause this video right now and go and get a notebook and a pen. Just don't listen, just write. Okay, so since first point to note here is this is a 5 marker question of 100 words. So in 5 marker questions you have to be very careful when it comes to quantitative portions, because you can't write much and you can't write less as well. You just need to write accurately, you just need to write enough amount. So in 100 words, what are you going to do? So they have asked you the role of degrees of freedom. So don't start your question by explaining what is degrees of freedom. So that's the second tip here. Don't start explaining degrees of freedom. Clearly start what is the importance of, what is the role of degrees of freedom in statistical inference. So in very simple 2 lines, tell why degrees of freedom are an integral part when you do testing, when you do statistical analysis. So clearly tell. So 2 lines mein that will be done. So 50 words should be taken by this portion. Now quickly quote a short example from econometrics or any hypothetical example to show that this is degrees of freedom, and that's how it helps us. So you can also quote the degrees of freedom in t-test statistic to take the decision. That is it. If you follow this, you will get good marks out of 5. But if you start your answer by explaining what is degrees of freedom and what is statistical inference, which most of the people do, you're going to get zero. I can bet you. Second, define level of significance. Now, here they are asking you level of significance. There you have three things. In this question, they're asking you three things. That too in 5 marks in year 2016. So, again, be very cautious in writing because three questions you have to answer in 5 marks. So, define level of significance. Just use one short line to define it. Then come to the next part. How is this level decided for a given problem? Now, this portion of the question can be answered by taking an example or clearly stating that how do we decide this level, that there is a trade off between the accuracy as well as the confidence level. And then they're asking you, can we take it as 2% or 6%? Clearly answer yes or no with the suitable reason. Don't go over and above that. Okay, now come to third type of question. These are theoretical questions. Distinguish between point estimation and interval estimation of a population parameter. Now, this is something that belongs to stats, but because they brought the word population parameter, so this comes as a part of econometrics now. So, state the small sample properties of a good estimator. So, it's a 15-mark question, so you have enough to write, but again, do not write what is unnecessary. So, clearly make points, point estimation, just start writing point estimation, and then here you mention interval estimation and write their difference. When you write their difference, you don't have to quote the examples, or you don't have to quote the definitions. You have to tell why when I use point estimation it is better, where it is used. Similarly, why interval estimation is better than point estimation, where it is used. Okay, and then at the end you can show that if I'm using a point estimation for population parameter, how do I write equation, how do I do it for interval, and then clearly state the properties of a good estimator. That's it. Fourth question, what are type 1 and type 2 errors? Straightforward question. Type 1, type 2 error, just tell type 1, type 2 error, tell the formula to calculate it, and you can also tell what importance do they possess in hypothesis testing. As simple as that. So you do not have to go beyond what is not asked. So I hope with these four questions you would now know that what to write in these questions. I have also told you what kind of mistakes people make. Now this is your numerical example. This is from index numbers. So here they ask you, first theoretical question, distinguish between the time and factor reversal test of a price index. So in this distinguishing, you will first talk about the time reversal test, then factor reversal test. What are these? What is the meaning of them? Then you will take example of price indices, that okay, this comes under time reversal, this is factor reversal, this may be both time and factor reversal. Then you will tell why these are time and factor reversal. That's it. Part B. For the data given below, calculate the price index by using Fisher's formula and interpret your result. This is a very important part of the question. First, the data is given. You would simply quote the Fisher's formula. You will calculate the value required for Fisher's formula and you will get your answer. Now, after getting your answer, clear interpretation is required. Many people, when they interpret their answer, they usually go round like this, because the value has come closer to this is what it means. No, they're asking you to interpret it, that if your Fisher's formula is equal to this value, what does it mean, and why, if we are using a particular formula for Fisher's formula, then what does it mean, why are we taking the weightage in Fisher's formula equal to something. So this is how you need to go ahead. You need to be very clear with the interpretation of your result, that okay, let's say Fisher's formula say price index came out to be 1. So what does that 1 mean? That 1 basically means that if there comes a change in prices in the quantity, this will be the effect on the expenditure basket. So Fisher actually combines the Laspeyres and the Parchet's method, so it gives the effect of the both, the geometric mean. So these kind of questions come. There have been more questions which have appeared from statistics. So if you want to get the past year questions, you can contact our team on 7880107880 to get your past year questions for statistics. And I hope this video will be useful for you. You will not make the mistakes which others have already made in their paper. Okay, I will see you soon in another video with one more interesting topic for your IES exam, which you can avoid. The mistakes basically which you can avoid. Thank you.